Millie unburdens herself. "Dad," said Millie, "I've been talking to Tori. Peter is away at a conference this weekend, so she's asked me to go and keep her company." "Her husband seems to be away a lot. What does he do?" "All I know is that he's an international economist. Anyway, I guess it would suit you, as you can go and spend time with Maggie." "Won't say no to that," grinned Greg. "You two seem to be getting on like a house on fire," said Greg. "Yes, we just kind of hit it off. We have quite a bit in common." "Okay," said Greg. "I'll go along with that. You want to make the travel arrangements?" "Already done," said Millie. When the children were asleep, Tori poured a glass of wine for Millie and made herself a cup of Earl Grey. "Tori, do you know that something very unpleasant happened at home a few weeks ago?" "Yes, your mother's husband left her." "There's a lot more to it. I feel I can trust you and I need to talk." "Does my mum know what it is?" "No, she doesn't. At first the lawyers told us not to talk about it to anyone outside the family." "Okay, just tell me what you can." "No, you see, Tori, I really need to talk." "Right, start at the beginning." "I think you know that my mother is a well-known violinist, and you possibly also know that about 6 years ago she had an affair, left my father, and in no time at all divorced and remarried." "Yes, Mum told me." "What you won't know is that Michael Spiegel is a Lothario, a womanizer, whatever you want to call it. He was also 7 years younger than my mum, and with hindsight, I think he only wanted her for her money. After the divorce, Jasper and I spent a lot of time with Dad. He was lonely, bewildered, and I suppose lost. You could say we sided with Dad, but it was really more that he needed us and she didn't. So I suppose we never really got to know Michael, and after a while we didn't want to, or it was too late. Jasper lives in Toronto and saw Mum often enough, so they maintained a good relationship. After the divorce, Mum got the family home and Dad bought an apartment. I was working in Montreal, but the family home was still my home. My horse and my dog were, and still are, there. I still have rooms there full of my stuff." Millie paused and looked directly at Tori. She took a deep breath and continued. "I had been working in Montreal. I was reasonably successful, but felt that the big break was not going to come. A 5-year relationship with Jackson Mulberry." "The jazz musician," interjected Tori. "That's the one. Anyway, it's all over now." "Was that your choice?" "No, his. He met someone else." "So I thought I would go home to consider my options. For some time I'd been thinking of joining Dad in the business, and now I just wanted to get out of Montreal. I spent the weekend with Mum, talking about the future, shopping, going out to eat. Michael was around, but said he was busy, so I didn't see much of him. On the Monday morning," Millie paused and looked upset. She straightened up and took a deep breath and continued. "On the Monday morning, Mum went off to rehearsals. She said she'd be gone all day, so I decided to have a swim and then meet a friend for lunch. So I went down to the pool." "You have a pool at home?" "Yes, 2 actually, one indoors and one outside. I went to the indoors pool, and after a dozen or so lengths, I lay down on a poolside lounger. The sunshine felt warm through the large glass windows, and I dozed off. Millie took a deep breath, looked straight at Tori, and then down at her hands. I was awakened by someone's hand on my arm. I was a little startled. It was Michael. He was standing really close, and when I sat up, he said, "Well now, just in time for a little skinny dipping." He threw down his towel and was completely naked. I jumped up and ran out of the pool room, upstairs, and locked myself in my bedroom. Millie started to cry. "What a dreadful thing to happen. Were you afraid of him?" Millie steadied herself. "No, that's not it. This is what happened next. As soon as I could, I packed a bag and went to Dad's place. When I got there, I couldn't stop crying. If I'm honest, it wasn't all about what happened with Michael, although I was totally disgusted by it. This was, after all, the man who broke up my parents' marriage, the man who'd been sleeping with my mother." Millie paused and looked straight at Tori. "It really is disgusting, isn't it?" Tori nodded. "However, there were a number of other things. My perception that I'd failed as a singer, and the pain of the breakup with Jackson." Tears rolled down her face. "I was in denial, pretending that it didn't matter, but it did. I loved that guy, and seeing him with another woman was so painful. Anyway, I didn't know how to tell Mum, so I rang Dad, and as soon as I heard his voice, I just broke down and cried and cried. So Dad caught the next plane out of Vancouver and came back to sort things out." If you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and subscribe and look out for the next chapter. But this is all for now. See you soon. Bye.